Okay. So if you happen to like the short idea and you're still in this, I would, me personally, I wouldn't want to, I don't like messing with pre-market trades. I like taking, if you're doing this, taking scalps of stuff. It's not like I would want it to come back to the entry and then possibly risk a loss. No, just take a little bit and walk away. Um, but that was me earlier saying that if we give this up, it could get pretty nasty. I want to use this as my confluence for the day. All right. That's where I'm going with this. Don't worry about the pre-market trade. I want to use this as my confluence for the day. So breakout for puts on watch at 24,608 or 598.45. Okay, just slightly below the low it's formed. That's what I'm watching for the market open. Breakout for calls on watch right above this level, basically 24,655 or 599.60. Okay. The reason 65, the reason for that is if I start to see those orders, like when we come up here, this is going to be a clear deciding point if we get back up there. If we get back up there. When we come back up there, if I see any hesitation of orders hitting the ask, if I'm not seeing the right amount of orders hit the ask, it's a fake out. I'm skipping it because it's more than likely going to reject. If it does reject, I would still be willing to get into shorts if I start to see that selling pressure early. If I'm not seeing that selling pressure early, if all I'm seeing is a lack of buying pressure, but not too much selling pressure yet, that's when I'll just simply have to wait for it to come back down to 608, and that's where I could look to take that entry. So just in case at the open it does that, it comes up and gets close and then starts to dump. That's my game plan. If we start to flush 608, it's more than likely going to keep selling. We had very bad news this morning. Job reports were terrible. I believe we were expecting an increase of like 50,000 and we had a decrease of 92,000. Inflation is up. It's not good. Or the unemployment rate, sorry. Unemployment rate. We had employment report, unemployment rate, hourly wages, retail sales. That's why you see Amazon is getting wrecked. So retail sales, I want you guys, Amazon's not really too much in that realm, but I want you to think of like Walmart's, Target, things like that. Okay. Going into a store and purchasing something, retail sales. So the retail sales is delayed, it says. Of course it is. And then we have business inventories later. Probably won't affect us. Some feds and then consumer credit. Consumer credit at the market close today, which can also be very bad. So if that is bad, that's something where you would see it sell off overnight on NQ. Nothing you can really do on QQQ. All right, now let's go over the other tickers here. Tesla, I like the weakness here on Tesla. I want to watch for a breakout for puts on Tesla at pre-market low, 397.8. I would ride this puppy all the way down to 394.30. Obviously, it's scaling out based on percentage profit. Like if you're seeing 20% and that's your first take profit, yes, scaling out is normal. But I would want my position, a good size of my position to hit 394.22. It's got the room. You can see yesterday we got really close to that level. So you could safely say to target at least 395. I will only flip for long on Tesla if we can get above that 400 key level. If you don't want to mess with possible rejections, you can also use that for a break and retest, right? Wait for the 5-minute candle to close. Let's say it closes at 400.6. Okay. Now you can watch for it to retrace back down into the 400 level and you can take that bounce. All right. Meta, I want to watch the breakout for puts here at 648.3 on the downside play. If not, I want to watch for a breakout for calls at 651, just above 650.65. Watch for that confirmation. You can also use 654. 654 is a nice level to use as well. Amazon, I really only have weakness for this because I don't have a bounce level in this range. And my next level for calls is quite far away. I can see a new one that formed right here at 215 area, 214.80. That is a nice new level that's formed. But I'm just going to keep that to a downside play. Amazon could have a really good recovery play. If the market starts to recover If we get that recovery play and the market starts to rip, Amazon could take a rip with it too. Could have a really big pre-market recovery play, basically, where it recovers the pre-market sell-off. And then MU also, just the downside, I have a breakout for shorts at 382.57. So that's what I have on MU as well. So I'll be taking an eye on those. AMD also is worth a watch. It's still showing weakness. It's pretty big key support level, as you can see. It's a level and that pre-market low. You guys see how many times we bounced this? Pretty aggressive bounces in this range. So AMD is worth watching as well. If it starts to slip below this level, you can use a break and retest of 194.69 or just a straight breakout. But something to keep in mind. All right. If you took that short trade earlier, you were able to get one trim, roughly around 30 points, stops you at entry. All right, now let's get our brokers loaded and unlocked. By the way, I do say that every morning. I saw someone yesterday took a loss because their broker wasn't unlocked and they tried to enter the trade with me. And then they had to unlock their broker and then they chased the trade and then they took a loss. Really avoidable mistakes, guys. Really avoidable mistakes. And these are mistakes we shouldn't be making because I'm going over them with you. So. Okay. Watch list. All right. So for MU, get those short contracts ready. 380 puts. Amazon getting 210 puts. Again, all you have to do is hover over the contract, right click, and then add to your watch list. That's all you have to do. All right, Meta. 645 puts or 655 calls. And Tesla. 405 calls at 395 puts. And we got QQQ. 600 calls or 597 puts. All right. There we go. All right, just a reminder. Again, I saw someone did this yesterday and it just blows my mind that we can have such a solid winning trade and somehow that turns into people blowing their accounts. And even if they miss that trade, the next one, that short rejection up there, beautiful. Or if you took I didn't like it, but if you took this bounce idea right here, when it did close there, though, I said I didn't like it. So I never would have taken that bounce trade. But you need to look back at your trading and you as a person. Yesterday, if you blew an account yesterday when this was the signal, this was the call out. It's not like it was a hit or miss. Did James call it out? Did he not? No, that was a very clear call out. Our game plan was always to enter at 25,010. It opened up very cleanly. It moved straight up. If that caused you to blow an account, you are lacking in discipline and you have to revisit the discipline. Don't worry about your technical analysis. Don't worry about buying a new monitor. Don't worry about buying a new trading book. You need to focus on your discipline. Ask yourself what parameters in your life can you manipulate to improve your discipline? Waking up earlier, making your bed, going to the gym, keeping a tidy home, keeping your car clean, organizing your garage. All of these small tasks improve your discipline. Those are all things you more than likely do not want to do. In my opinion, improving discipline comes by doing a Of course there's no camera, dude. What is this? I swear, OBS. OBS will be the reason I get gray hair. Yep. All right, we're recording with no camera today. It is what it is. All right. Move all this up the way. What I want you guys, you can't hear me? Can you still hear me? Okay. Regardless, what I was trying to say, don't be going on tilt today, guys. Don't be going on tilt. All right, if the market starts to continue to show strength, obviously I'm going to try to take calls out the gate at the open. We'll just see how this starts to react. All right. Meta's just dying without us. Okay. All right, 1 minute here. Remember, size accordingly. So that way, if you take a loss today, you're not giving back all of your week's profits. Do not be the person that gives back massive winning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday trades all on one day on Friday. That is never supposed to be the case. Size appropriately today. If that means you have to downsize to meet that risk, downsize. You always prefer a small win over a big loss. All right. As of right now, I have QQQ 600 calls ready. If we flip into shorts, I'll say shorts. That's what I'll say. So that way you know the difference. If I say QQQ, I'm getting into calls. If I say shorts, I'm going short if we flip. Meta and Tesla ready too here. There's a lot of selling pressure here. Tesla's immediately dumped. I would trim here on Tesla, guys. This is where I would trim on that first Tesla trade. Those contracts are flying on Tesla. QQQ calls. Giving this a go right here. Draw out this entry. Oh my God, these contracts. I got to trim here on these contracts. That's a change here. When we break through 700, it's going to fly. So if this is your reentry spot, if you're trying to get in, I like this, the confirmation it's showing us here on volume footprint. I like the confirmation I'm seeing on the order book. It's just taking a minute to get through this level. That's the hard part. There's a big wall here. There's a really big wall here. If you want to skip on the breakout of the wall, skip on this. You can exit at break even right now. You can exit at break even. This would be obviously the second entry. You can exit at break even. We can use a break and retest of this, or if we fail this level, it's really going to confirm the short entry down here. Contracts are moving okay here. All right, taking this first trim on the second call out here. 15% profit, taking my first trim here. I'm now going to put my stop loss to entry on this. I want to see this continue to push up here. Right at 38 points profit on that first push, guys. That's 38 points profit. Oh, it's coming back to my entries so quickly. The last trade, QQQ puts. Really last one. 650 is the entry. It's bouncing aggressively here. We need this to slip this level immediately. It's got to slip this level immediately. There we go. Taking that first trim here. Taking my first trim right now on this trade, everybody. That is 26 points profit. All right, first trim's off. Taking that second trim, actually, you see that big flush? Just flush straight down. That's 40 points. Stop loss is at entry here. Basically 5 more minutes because this candle has to close outside of the range. A lot of buyers stepping in here. Holy moly. A lot of buyers. Wow. These buyers keep coming in here. That's incredible. Okay, so we finally got in the breakout. Now what I want to watch for, I'm going to put this on a 1 minute. I want to watch this for the retest. I'm going to look for a retest into the order block. That's what I want to look for. It's rejecting right at my 66 level. That's good. It's not even giving us the retest here. This is the first time SPY has gotten above its pre-market high as well. There we go. Come on, retest this. I want to see it tap in this range like that. That's what I want to see with an entry. Point of control just shifted down here. It's tapping it. It's tapping the bounce level right there. That's where I would take your first trim. That's where I would take the first trim right there. 66. I wouldn't mess with this, and I would move your stop loss to entry immediately. I would move your stop loss to entry immediately. I wouldn't mess with this. So I bring that stop loss up to entry. Now I would target 73 for that next trim. Perfect little bounce there on 728, right at the top of that order block. Point of control keeps shifting to the upside, which is showing the buying pressure. It just needs to get the follow through and break out of that key level, 766. It's got to break that key level. Oh, no, this week was perfect besides today. Today is the only day where we've seen a little bit of difficulty. Where on earth is this Mr. Valor coming from? Good job, Sam. Yeah, I see. I'd say probably I could totally see maybe 20 or 30% of you being red today for sure, because the trades were quick and they were short-lived. They were short-lived. But that's the goal, right? Even if you were red today, you should have been heavy green Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you should have been heavy green the last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And you should have been heavy green the last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You get? All right, just like I said it might do, it might come back into the order block and bounce it again. That's okay. The whole point is we keep bouncing this order block and make a move to the upside here. We can see 100 points out of this. You can see 100 points out of this. You can still be entering here even. It doesn't really matter. It's aggressive entry no matter what. The whole point is you're betting it's not going to come back below this range. That's the whole point. It's going to happen. Come on, get us 100 points. You're right there. Just so close. Najim, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly. Apologize if I'm not. But yes, that is a service some people provide. Definitely don't be doing that. Do not pay someone to pass your account for you, guys. I don't want to call it a fraud or a scam. I'm sure that's like legitimate. Like I'm sure someone's really is trying to pass your account, but please don't do that. Just think long term. All right, it tapped it. See that? Tapped it. Beautiful. You got 100 points. 100 points. There it is. There it is. If you didn't trim at 93, trim now. That's 100 points profit. That is 100 points. What a crazy coincidence. You're able to squeeze something out. of this horrendous price action day. That's awful. How terrible. Last one MNQ. Look, it's broken out of the range. Again, don't let fear rule your trade. If you're not a fan of selling at 100 points, you can try to shoot for 150. You can try. I personally, if it was me in this trade, I would not have that much of a wishful thinking. If I had one MNQ, I would take my profit here. Good day considering what happened in the morning. Good day. Obviously, this is not under control. We just manage it the best we can. We hold the line and we keep moving forward. That's all we can do.